What is God? God is nothing more than an anthropomorphism for your weaknesses. Prove me wrong. Hi guys, happy Memorial Day. I'm filming this in a real casual style, very little editing, because I don't think anyone's going to watch this. YouTube probably won't like this video very well, so this is for my members who I love. I love all of you. And my subs who want to watch me, and for those of you that are out of the US where it's not Memorial Day. Typically, YouTube videos don't do so good over Memorial Day. But I saw this meme. I'm going to put it up right here. I saw this in a Facebook group called No Rules Religious Debates. And I like it because there's no rules. You can say anything you want to, and they don't censor you, oddly enough. So I really like that. If you haven't checked out that group, you should. No Rules Religious Debate. But anyway, I saw this meme, and I want to just talk about it real quick. This won't be a very long video. So I thought it was great. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Laurentia. I was a Christian for 50 years in a fundamentalist church, and then I became a more liberal United Methodist, but I'd say more like semi-conservative, not super liberal at all when I was in the church. So this describes me. So if you're a Christian and you're watching this and you think I'm attacking you, I'm not. I'm talking about myself, who I was, and to some degree who I still am. So let's get into it. The first one is God is the opinions you can't otherwise justify. Of course he is. Because if you're someone who feels uncomfortable with gay people, lesbians, transsexuals, it's easy, and you don't know why, probably because you're insecure with yourself. And this is, you can point to the Bible and you can say, see, it's wrong, because you have no other way to justify it. Because when you think about it logically, who cares who someone else is dating? What difference does it make to you? The next two, your intellectual laziness and the sum of your willful ignorance, those two go together. Because when you're intellectually lazy, you don't want to figure out things about the world. You don't want to ask the hard questions or learn. Maybe you're not smart enough. I mean, maybe literally you're not smart enough, and you don't trust other people. You're ignorant and you're lazy. You have intellectual laziness. And that was me. Not that I'm particularly a lazy person and I don't like being ignorant. I didn't like being ignorant, but it made life easy for me. I didn't have to go ask the questions and do the hard research myself. And so even when I became a more liberal United Methodist, and they don't take the Bible literally, I still could rely on the fact that even though Adam and Eve probably weren't real people, it was God's way of talking to us, of showing us where we've gone wrong. And that feels good, doesn't it? That's ignorance and laziness on my part and probably on your part. Which goes to the next one, a comforting convenience. Of course it's convenient. Yes, it's very convenient. You have this book and all of your answers are right here in this book. And it's convenient because let's say that someone close to you has died. And for some reason, I've just had a lot of people all of a sudden in my life, surrounding my life, dying recently. Isn't it comforting to know that you're going to see them again? It's so much easier to say that than to face what might be the hard facts of life, that you may never see them again. You probably won't see them again. And there's the comforting conveniences that Jesus is always with you. What's that famous poem where the two people walking in the sand, and then there's one set of footprints, and that's when Jesus was carrying you? There's a comfort in that. It's a convenience for you. And you can just say, it's Jesus's God's will. This is all God's will. Whatever happens to me, this is God's will. I can pray about it. I even know Christians that pray about the kind of car they should get or what color they should paint their house. Yes, I've seen those prayer requests in church. It's so convenient to pray to God and have him answer you. Right. Oh, here's a good one. This is a social adhesive for those who can't function socially in any other way. You see this a lot with people that are addicts or have criminal history. They need guardrails. They need guardrails to stay in place. This was never me. I've never been an addict, but my dad was. And my dad was a fundamentalist Christian. And I know so many addicts that they turn to God to keep those guardrails in place. Or even worse, they've done really heinous crimes like raping and unaliving people. And so they go to prison and they get involved in a prison ministry. And they really think that God is going to keep them on the straight and narrow. Sometimes that works, but a lot of times it wasn't, because you know that repeat offenses, that is what, like something like 75% of all inmates, they recommit the same crime. So it doesn't really work that well. But you also see people that say, well, where would you get your morals from? That one kills me. I guess I'm not robbing banks because, I have the Bible to tell me that I shouldn't be stealing. And honestly, when I was a teenager, I probably was kept in line to some degree with these rules of the Bible, especially about premarital sex. I really did not indulge in that, mostly because I was scared of my parents, but I was also scared of God. So he kept me in line. So I just love this one. And the next one, your bigotry. Oh, yes, your bigotry. This goes back to feeling uncomfortable with other groups of people, no matter if they're a different race, even a different sex. How many men are so uncomfortable with women that they use the Bible to denigrate them, to tell them they need to be submissive? Because I think deep down, I think the men that are really, really sexist and use the Bible to keep women in their place, silent, submissive, I think they're scared. I think most bigotry comes from being scared. So that's my thought on that. And I think that people that are bigots, they use the Bible to just reinforce their bigotry and really their insecurity. The next one, and it's an excuse. Of course, it's an excuse. The Bible is an excuse for everything. And this is the biggest one, is that when a Christian does something horrible, let's say they do unalive someone, rape somebody, rob a bank, cheat, lie, steal. See, when all they can do is they can say, please forgive me. If they're a Catholic, they can ask their priest. If you're a Protestant, you go straight to Jesus and ask him to forgive you. And it's like it never even happened. You see, how many times do you hear Christians say, well, I'm not perfect, but I'm forgiven, meaning you're not. I'm forgiven. So they have an excuse to keep sinning because every sin they do is like it never even happened. It's excuses. That's one way they use excuses. The other way they use it, the Bible, as an excuse is for all the other things we talked about: their willful ignorance, their intellectual laziness, their bigotry. It's just an excuse, and it's a good one. It's a good one. The next one is a coping mechanism to avoid reality. I know a girl, actually, she's a friend of my sister's, and she has two things going on in her life. Her dad, who she was very close to, died some years ago. And she has an aunt who she loves dearly, who's a lesbian. And she was a fundamentalist Christian, a Nazarene. So how does she reconcile those two things? Well, she's decided that she's going to ignore those parts of the Bible that feel icky to her, you know, making her aunt feel bad. And she's kind of mostly stopped going to church. She really doesn't go to church, but she can't let go of it because she said to my sister, I can't handle the thought of never seeing my dad again. So I have to believe in Jesus. I have to hold on to that because I can't handle it. And again, we go back to the reality is you probably won't see your father again. I don't know because I don't know what happens to us after we die. I have suspected for a long time, even towards the end of my Christianity, that nothing happens, that we just, take a dirt nap, so to speak. And so you see that over and over. They can't handle it. They can't handle the thought that they're not going to live forever and that the people that they love aren't going to live forever. Okay, the last two, they tie together. A ploy to avoid thinking, responsibility, and the need to develop a sense of social justice, and a lie which you try to deceive yourself. Isn't that the truth? And doesn't that go back to being intellectually lazy? Isn't it easier to rely on the word of God rather than developing your own sense of justice, your own sense of responsibility? Atheists and even deists, those that don't believe that God plays any part, those that think there's some God, but it doesn't interact with you, those people, us, we have to take responsibility for everything. See, we don't have that get out of jail card for free. We don't have that. See, if we do something bad, if I go unalive someone, if I go rob my local bank, I have to pay the price for that. And I'm talking legally, of course, both Christians and atheists have to pay legally for what they did. But see, in my conscience, in my brain, I have to pay for that. I can't do the little prayer and say, well, I've just gotten out of jail for free. No, that doesn't work like that. I can't assuage my guilt with that. I have to live with that forever until I die. So that keeps me actually more on the straight and narrow than ever believing in a God. So I do believe that God was an excuse for my weakness. All right, you guys have a great weekend. And I love my members. If you want to join the channel and help me support the channel, that'd be great. Love my subs. Give me a thumbs up. And I don't know that YouTube will even put this video out there. So this may just be a few of you that see this. But anyway, have a great weekend and I'll see you next week.